Today, we're diving into a book that might just fundamentally change the way you hear the world. It's called The Soundscape by Schafer, and it's all about teaching us something that sounds simple but is actually pretty profound: how to truly listen. So let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually stopped, closed your eyes, and just listened? I don't mean just hearing the noise in the background. I mean actively paying attention. Because Schafer's whole point is that the world of sound we live in now is so different from what it used to be, and most of us don't even notice the change. At the heart of his book is this really revolutionary idea. He wants us to hear the entire planet in a completely new way. He asks us to imagine that the whole world is one single, enormous, never-ending piece of music. It's a pretty cool thought, right? And in this global concert, we're way more than just the audience. See, in this gigantic musical piece, we play every part. We're the audience, sure, but we're also the musicians. And, maybe most importantly, we're the composers. Every single sound we make, from our footsteps to our conversations, is another note added to this planetary score. Now, that's a beautiful idea, but you might be thinking, how do you even begin to study that? How do you turn a metaphor into a science? Well, Schafer actually gives us a framework to do just that. It all starts with one key term, the soundscape. And this isn't just about the sounds of nature. A soundscape is the total acoustic environment of any area. Your living room has a soundscape. A busy city street has a soundscape. Even a radio program is its own little soundscape. And Schafer breaks every soundscape down into three main elements. First, you've got the keynote sounds. Think of this as the background, the canvas, like the constant hum of traffic in a city or the sound of waves at the beach. It's stuff we often just tune out. Then there are signals. These are the sounds that are designed to grab our attention: a car horn, a siren, a doorbell. And finally, you have soundmarks. These are unique, iconic sounds that define a place, like the famous chimes of Big Ben in London. Okay, so this brings us to a really critical point in Schafer's work. He identified a huge, and not in a good way, shift in the quality of our soundscapes, a move from clarity to just overwhelming noise. Schafer calls this a shift from hi-fi to lo-fi. A hi-fi soundscape is like a crystal clear photo where you can hear every sound distinctly. But a lo-fi environment, that's more like a blurry, shaken photo, where a constant blanket of noise just masks everything else. You lose that sense of acoustic perspective. And this isn't just annoying. This constant sonic clutter can actually raise our stress levels and make us feel disconnected from where we are. Schafer even invented a term for one of the big culprits here: schizophrenia. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it just means the split between a sound and its original source. Think about listening to an orchestra through a speaker. You're hearing a copy, not the real thing. He argues that this separation has totally changed our relationship with sound, creating a kind of secondhand world that makes us less sensitive to the real sounds around us. But here's the good news. Schafer doesn't just point out the problem and leave it at that. He proposes solutions. He introduces two whole new fields of study to help us start designing a better sonic future. Think of it like a visit to the doctor. First, there's acoustic ecology, which is the diagnosis. This is where you study a soundscape to figure out what's wrong. Then, once you have that diagnosis, you can move on to the therapy, acoustic design. And this isn't just about noise complaints. It's the creative, conscious process of making our sound world more beautiful, more functional, and, well, more human. So acoustic design means taking real practical steps. It means preserving sounds that are important. It means thinking about the impact of a new sound before we just throw it into the mix. And it means educating people about sonic awareness. The ultimate goal is for us to become the conductors, the maestro, who actively orchestrate a better planetary sound, instead of just letting noise happen to us. Now, all this might sound a bit big, a bit abstract. You might be thinking, okay, but what can I do? This is where Schafer brings it all the way back down to the individual level. The change, he says, starts with us. And this quote right here is the key to his whole personal philosophy. The answer to a noisy world isn't to just block our ears and hide from it. The answer is to learn how to listen better, with more clarity. His method for this is called ear cleaning. And no, he's not talking about cotton swabs. Think of it more like a meditation for your hearing. It's a series of exercises to train your mind and your ears to pick out, understand, and even appreciate the sounds around you. It could be as simple as taking a sound walk, where your only goal is to listen, or just trying to find the quietest sound in the room you're in right now. The whole goal here is to make a shift, to go from being a passive receiver of sound, just letting all that noise bombard you, to becoming an active, conscious listener who actually participates in and helps shape your sonic world. So we'll end with the very same question Schafer leaves us with. Are we just victims of an increasingly noisy world? Or do we have the power and the responsibility to make it more beautiful? The answer he suggests begins the very next time you decide to stop and truly listen.